Hi everyone, I'm China Basiliaje and welcome to Pairfect, where we bring together inspiring minds who share one purpose and one passion. Today we're talking about transforming communities not just through education, but through vision, dedication, and the courage to create impact where it matters most. Joining us is a remarkable Filipina advocate whose literacy programs have empowered hundreds of young readers in Lipa, Batangas. From supporting schools during the pandemic to creating the innovative 60-day reading challenge with her father, she has devoted herself to giving children the tools and confidence to read, learn, and thrive. Please welcome the inspiring literacy advocate, Ms. Maite Leyeza Tarrayo, to be interviewed by Ms. Pauline Pascual of Daily Tribune Lifestyle.
Hi, ma'am. So, basically, we're just talking anything that you want. You can speak in Tagalog, in English. We're just casually having our conversation as if we're having a tea or having coffee. Anyway,
Okay.
first of all, I would like to say happy holidays to you and to your family.
Happy
Okay.
holidays to
Yeah,
you as
and
well.
welcome to our show, Perfect, under the Daily Tribune. So, ma'am, so you have parang innovative 60-day reading challenge, right? So parang
Yes.
you and your father started this challenge and then during the pandemic. So what inspired you to start this kind of significant thing?
Actually, so 2021 was the 25th anniversary of our company, Comworksing.
Hmm. Oh.
So starting 2020, we already started thinking, what can we do to
Mm-hmm.
celebrate this
Yeah.
milestone? And we really wanted to do something that would leave an impact,
Mm-hmm.
and would really, reflect the mission, vision, values of our company as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
So Lipa City is the hometown of our directors, of our
Mm-hmm.
founders.
Mm-hmm.
So we started to look in Lipa City, what is there a community that we can support?
Yeah.
And the two schools, Malitlit and Anangi, elementary schools, were recommended to us.
Mm-hmm.
So we started to meet with them, talk to them, ask them, if we are to help your schools, what do you need? How
Mm-hmm.
can we support?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where um, reading programs was brought about, as well as computers and internet connectivity. So actually, that's where it started.
Okay. So, ma'am, the program is very unique. So, how significant it is to you, and then the importance of coordination with your family, your parents in making this kind of initiative.
Yeah. So the 60-day reading challenge,
Mm-hmm.
we do this in coordination with our partners from Corazon
Mm-hmm.
Sanchez Atayde Memorial Foundation. So they have this kind of reading program that really fit the requirement of the school.
Yeah.
And I met the foundation because we both volunteer for a committee that's for recycling and,
Mm-hmm.
clean and green and things like that. So we got to talking, and it was a good partnership for this school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good program because it really helps in habit forming for the
Mm-hmm.
kids. They have to learn to love to read for
Yeah.
them to continue to read. So this 60 days, and I think there's a lot of books about, how do you form a habit? You have
Yeah.
to do something
Mm-hmm.
consistently, right? So
Yeah.
this 60-day reading challenge is really meant to get them to learn to love to read so that they will continue on their own.
Mm-hmm. So, ma'am, of course, you've been mentioned earlier that it all started with in the year 2021. So it's been how many years already? So how's the approach? How's the improvement ever since?
So every year we talk to the schools,
Mm.
because sometimes the principals change, the
Yeah,
school
yeah.
heads
Mm-hmm.
change. So every year we talk to the schools, we ask them how is the previous school year, how is the previous program, is there any challenges that you'd like us to address for this particular
Mm-hmm.
school year? So when we started, it wasn't always about a reading challenge.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was about writing. Sometimes it was really about basic reading.
Mm-hmm.
Sight words, CVC words, and reading challenge is more about comprehension and
Yeah.
love to learn to read. So every year we find out from the schools, what are the challenges and what can we do to help address these challenges.
Okay. So, ma'am, before we go into the challenges, so aside from that, what's the most rewarding thing that you experience? Of course, you've met so many people already, and then the thing that you help for this kind of initiative. So, what's the most rewarding part, or let's say the highlights?
Well, every time we start a new school year, we always
Mhm.
have a program kickoff. So this is where we meet the students that the school has selected. We
Mhm.
get to meet their parents. And actually, this last kickoff was nice because they were able to choose about one or two students who are
Mhm.
very proficient already, who are very
Yeah.
good. And they
Mhm.
did, storytelling in front of the other students. And, it's aspirational.
Yeah.
It was nice because here's a student, he's so good at reading, and this
Yeah.
is what everyone wants to be able to achieve, and if he can
Mhm.
do it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
Parang ganun po yung dating, di ba? So um, that's very nice. And then at the end of the 60 days, there's always a culminating activity. So there's like a graduation.
Wow.
We give the students like a medal, an award. For those students who are able to complete, for example, 60 books in 60
Mhm.
days, they get these special awards. So we also want to make it exciting for the kids to be able to reward them, even for the small milestones that they're able to achieve throughout the 60 days.
Of course, ma'am. It's really a different kind of feeling when you saw their smiles, right? So,
Yeah.
aside from the you made mention all these highlights and then all these achievements that you've made personally. So, what about the challenges? Of course, there's always a challenge. So, what about these kind of challenges?
Well, when we first started, that was still in,
Yeah.
pandemic time.
Yeah.
The kids were not in school; they were
Mm-hmm.
at home. So I think one of the biggest challenges that we faced was how do we get these kids to join our program when they're not physically in school.
Yeah.
So in one of the schools, there were actually learning hubs that were set up in the homes of
Mm-hmm.
volunteer parents, and they would take care of maybe 5 students.
Mm-hmm.
We donated computers in each of those homes, and the reading materials were there. We got book donations from our
Mm-hmm.
own employees,
Mm-hmm.
from our business partners,
Mm-hmm.
and then we distributed the books to the two schools so that they have access to the books. I think that's one of the challenges is if the students don't have access to a wide variety of books that might be of interest to them, then how are they going to enjoy reading if they don't have access
Yeah.
to books? So through the book donation drive that we did, and then we donated the computers, made it accessible because we placed them and installed them in the homes of the volunteer parents, so they're able to do small group learning sessions. At the same time, they were also doing their school's learning modules because they had to do
Mm-hmm.
everything from home. During that time, we also donated mobile phones,
Wow.
data plans, so that it's easy for the parents to be able to coordinate with the teachers, who would then coordinate with us with regards to the progress of the students. Of course, after 2021,
Mm-hmm.
2022, the computers were brought back to the school, the
Yeah.
books then brought back to the school. It filled up their libraries, so they have their school libraries. And now the kids are all back in school. So it's nice because, wala nang face masks. We can see
Yeah.
that the
Yeah, I
kids
can see the beautiful faces.
program is actually in the school.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see them back in school.
Okay, ma'am, so can I just clarify? So how many can cater this initiative? How many students or like people can be in this program?
It will be nominated by the school based
Okay.
on the students that they feel would
Mm.
need this program or would
Mm-hmm.
need a little extra help. So right now, there's about 30 students in
Mm-hmm.
Anangi Elementary School and 30 students in Malitlit Elementary School.
Wow.
But since 2021, we have been able to reach over
Yeah.
240 students.
Mhm. Ma'am, sabi nga nila 'di ba, may sabing na may pag-asa sa pagbasa, 'di ba? So parang how do you think is really important, most especially right now? We're receiving so many corruptions nowadays, and it's really one of the thing na we need to read even better lalo ngayon. So lalo sa mga kabataan right now. So how do you think it's really important and most especially what's happening right now in the Philippines?
Well, we always ask the kids, diba, what do you want to
Mhm.
be when you grow up?
Yeah.
What do you want to achieve And for them to be able to achieve those
Mm-hmm.
things, they have to be able to read well. They
Yeah.
have to be able to read properly so that they're able to, take the additional studies for them to,
Mm-hmm.
reach that particular career. So that's why one of the things that we want to do now is to really track the progress of these kids.
Yeah.
Because maybe they start with our program in the first grade, and
Mm-hmm.
then like some of them started in the fifth grade, they're already in high school. So
Mm-hmm.
we want to see and watch them progress because, malay mo, one of them becomes, the
Yeah.
president of the Philippines later
Mm-hmm.
on. So we always tell them for them to be able to really, achieve their dreams or their career goals, they
Mm-hmm.
really need to be very well good readers. They have to be good readers.
Mom, volunteering is very crucial, and it really takes passion and everything in between, because it's a really different kind of, feeling when you see and help other people. So parang my question is, ma'am, how do you motivate, and parang how do you still be in this kind of involvement in the community? So yeah,
When it comes to being a volunteer, I think the best way is to lead by example.
lead by example.
If
That's
they
nice.
see, for example, the board of directors of Comworks
Yeah.
volunteering, and then we invite our our managers, our
Mm-hmm.
employees. We always invite them to these activities so they can
Mm-hmm.
volunteer and they can also see what we're doing. We share
Mm-hmm.
with them. Because when you volunteer, it's a different kind of feeling. It takes a lot of your time,
Yeah.
but the returns is priceless, really.
Yeah. Ma'am, you will mention that it's really priceless. So of course there will be burnouts, there will be stresses. So how do you handle all these things just to see all those smiles?
Well, I guess you have to go back to why you're doing it in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why did you volunteer so much of your time, even though everyone's time is so limited, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you volunteer so much of your time to be able to do this? And
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, going back, you want to share your blessings. You want to be able to share with others um, what you have, the resources that you have. And, because we're in the um, IT and, telecommunications industry, what we had was computers, what we had was internet connectivity. And through our employees, they had books,
Yeah.
so we just had to tell them, this is the program.
Mm-hmm.
These are the communities we are supporting. And actually, if you tell people that there's there's a lot who would really want to volunteer and help out. They just want to know how.
Yeah. Mom, as a Filipina literacy advocate, so what does success means to you?
Success. Well, one of the um, I guess key objectives of the 60-day reading challenge is really
Mm-hmm.
to form a habit.
Yeah.
There are so many distractions now to do aside from read. But
Mm-hmm.
once you learn to love to read,
Yeah.
hard to stop. There's so many, reading just really takes you to a whole different,
Yeah.
it really takes you to a whole different environment, and you learn so many things. You learn so many words. You learn so many new and interesting things that
Mm-hmm.
really only reading can provide.
Mm-hmm.
So what we really for us, success is when we see these kids continue to read even without the reading challenge, even when there's no module
Yeah.
to finish or there's nothing to submit to the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
When the library when the librarian or the teacher in charge of the books
Yeah.
sees these children continue to borrow the books, because each of the books there's like a library card so you can see
Mm-hmm.
who's borrowing. When they continue to borrow the books even when our program is finished, then that's a level of success for us.
Wow. Reading is really a different kind of what they call this um universe, because it's really a different world when you read and you digest everything. So mom, reflecting on your journey, parang what's the lesson you've learned along the way since 2021 up to this date, and how are you able to manage those kind of lessons?
I think one of the lessons is really to listen,
Listen.
listen to the school. What are the challenges that they are facing? listen to the kids, right? What makes them want to read, and what makes it difficult for them to
Mm-hmm.
read. That's why when we donated books, we really try to donate a wide variety of books, because some kids, they like reading about mga alamat. There are other kids naman, they want to read about Disney characters. They
Yeah.
want to read about
Wow.
superheroes.
Yeah.
So, kailangan iba-iba so that they find something of interest. Ang
Mm-hmm.
purpose naman is for them to read.
Mm-hmm.
So once they like to read, then they can expand into other kinds of books.
Yeah.
Basta tuloy-tuloy.
Ma'am, are there any parang age bracket po ba in terms of this challenge, reading challenge? Wala naman po.
Wala naman. Right now, we ask the schools where they'd
Mm-hmm.
like to start. There are some years that we catered to grade 1 and
Mm-hmm.
2 students.
Mm-hmm.
And then right now, we are catering between grade 3 and grade 5.
Wow.
There, especially during the pandemic, there's that 2-year gap.
Mm-hmm.
These I think are the grade 7, grade 6 students who lost a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
in the primary school years, where they're still
Yeah.
learning how to read.
Mm-hmm.
So, from grade 1, it was online already, and then all of a sudden they're already grade 3 and 4, and they're expected to be at an advanced level of reading, but they weren't able to get the foundation and the basics because it was online at the time, and it was very difficult
Yeah.
for students and parents alike to handle that online learning.
Yeah. Ma'am, for example, if I'm going to have this challenge, what I'm going to expect in this kind of reading challenge?
So when we have our program kickoff,
Mm-hmm.
there's a crate of books. So these are the
Mm-hmm.
books that are pre-selected, that would cater to that particular age group. The books have like a library card, so
Mm-hmm.
that you know who borrowed the book and when it's due, when it's supposed to be returned. They're also given a workbook.
Mm-hmm.
So every time they borrow a book, they're going to be asked particular questions.
Mm-hmm.
What's the story about? So reading comprehension, who's the main
Mm-hmm.
character? What's the story about? What's the setting? And then some questions about, so how do you feel about it?
Yeah.
What did you learn about it?
Mm-hmm.
So that pretty much is your 60 days, because you want to be, I mean, if you can read one book a day
Mm-hmm.
for 60 days, then that's, you've reached the ultimate challenge. So that's really what we're trying to address, is to really form that habit. After 60 days, they've
Okay.
read those 60 books, and they will continue to read even after the 60-day challenge is finished.
Okay, ma'am. So, what are your since 2025 comes to an end in just a few days, and then we're still hoping for 2026 for a better and year. So, what are your hopes for your 60-day reading challenge for the kids, for the for you, for everyone who's in charge in this kind of initiative?
Well, for 2026, they will finish probably by February. So that
Mm-hmm.
actually uh, aligns with
Mm-hmm.
our 30th anniversary in Commerce.
Wow.
So it's another milestone for us. It's a milestone for us in supporting these two schools also. So we hope that the students who were reading during the program kickoff, as this is the example of how I want to read at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
60 days. Then some of these students would be the one up there after 60
Yeah.
days. They will be the one on stage reading to their classmates.
Mm-hmm.
That this is what I can do, and they could
Wow.
be the aspiration to the rest of their classmates. And we hope, together with the school, we're able to continue to donate more books,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to fill up their libraries,
Mm-hmm.
so that the kids would continue to read on their own.
Okay. Ma'am, before we end the interview po, can I ask you parang a Miss Universe kind of question? So in just a 3 words, how are you gonna explain this reading challenge in just 3 words and just give you a thrill?
Oh my gosh, 3 words. Um, maybe it's well, first word would be habit,
Habit.
right? Next one would be imagination,
Mm-hmm.
and the third word would be love.
Okay. Wow. It's so nice to have a conversation with you, ma'am. So, reading as a habit, and because of reading, we have this kind of imagination. And of course, with the help of you po, ma'am, there will be always love. So, thank you so much, ma'am, again for having your time with lifestyle section under Perfect po. So nice to meet you po. Even though it's virtually, but yeah, happy holidays, ma'am. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and of course a Happy New Year. Cheers to
Thank you.
2026.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
What an inspiring conversation with Miss Maite Leyeza Tarrayo, a shining reminder that dedication, vision, and compassion can create brighter futures one child at a time. Thank you for joining us on Pairfect. Don't forget to follow Daily Tribune for more stories of changemakers making a difference in their communities. Until next time, on behalf of Miss Dina Ventura and Miss Pauline Pascual, I'm China Basiliaje, and this has been Pairfect, where every story connects perfectly.
And this break is brought to you by Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Usapang OFW is the show that honors the journeys of our modern-day heroes, our OFWs. Join Chingmi Fernandez, John Dodson, and Rafi Ayang every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. to hear the real stories behind the sacrifices. Watch it live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune Now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok.
Want to hear from thought leaders shaping our world? Straight Talk with Chito Lozada and Ted Montelibano dives into leadership, politics, and business every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Catch conversation live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune Now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok.
Narito na naman ang inyong lingkod, Manong Joe, para sagutin ang inyong tanong. May tanong tayo mula kay Javier Domingo, isa pong netizen. Manong Joe, paano pag sa Metro Manila tumama ang lindol, handa ba ang Meralco? Ito sagot, Javier, at maganda yung tanong mo. Napapanahon talaga na paghandaan ang anumang uri ng sakuna, maging ito ay lindol, malakas na bagyo at kung ano man, sa dami ng kalamidad na nararanasan natin mula sa mga nangyayaring lindol hanggang sa mga pagbaha, malakas na hangin at iba pa, ang kaligtasan ng bawat customer ang prioridad ng Meralco. Tinitiyak namin na ginagawa ang lahat para mapanatiling ligtas at maayos ang aming serbisyo at mga pasilidad. Pinapalitan namin ang mga poste ng mas matibay na gawa sa konkreto at pakal. Inililipat din ang mga poste sa mga lugar na ligtas. Regular na nagsasagawa ng tree trimming at wire clearing ang Meralco para hindi maapektuhan ang mga linya ng kuryente o makayanan ang anumang bagyo o lindol. Nagsasagawa rin ang Meralco ng re-insulation at conductor shielding ng mga linya namin, pagpapatibay ng mga lighting protection system, pati na rin ang pagkakabit ng mga smart device para agad na matukoy ang mga posibleng alalahanin ukol sa serbisyo ng kuryente. Kung kakailanganin, handa po ang Meralco na pansamantalang mag-de-energize upang masiguro ang kaligtasan ng publiko. Kadalasan po namin itong ginagawa kapag tumataas ang tubig baha o di kaya ay napakalakas ng bagyo. Kasama na rin ang uga ng lindol. Pagkatapos naman po ng anuman sakuna, maging po ito'y bagyo o lindol, at may na-damage po kami facilities, bumagsak na linya o ano ba man, huwag ho ninyong lapitan. Hayahan ho ninyo ang aming mga crew ang gumawa ng kinakailangan para masigurong ligtas ang pagkukumpuni. Kapag sigurado na po tayo na ligtas nang bumalik sa bahay, siguro po tingnan muna natin ang sitwasyon sa loob at siguraduhin din na yung ating mga internal wiring facilities ay nasa maayos na kalagayan. Bago pa man abutin ng tubig baha yung inyong mga outlet, patayin na muna ang main switch sa bahay. at i-unplug ang mga appliances. Kung may electrical hazard, agad itong i-report sa amin sa Meralco sa pamamagitan ng My Meralco app. Nasa social media din po kami, Facebook at X, yung dating Twitter, o sa Meralco hotline bilang 16211. Pwede din kayong mag-text sa numerong ito. Tandaan mga katribo na sa panahon ng kalamidad, ang pagiging alerto at maingat ay susi sa kaligtasan. Ako po muli ang inyong lingkod si Manong Joe, Saldariaga para sa Ask Manong Joe. Hanggang sa muli mga katribo at sa mga nanonood sa Daily Tribune.